horses, Clara. Of course. Not Teddy. Following up on a hint from Molly, you learn from Ivana that the courtesan killer's letter is a fake. Every clue is bringing you closer to the culprit, a feeling that is full of excitement and danger. You picked up your costume for the party at the manor, then embarked with Tinner and Iron Bear on the ferry. Are we all on the ferry right now? The manor moves with a life of its own. Lord Braxton has pulled strings to divert hydroelectric power from the nearest dam, making it the first English house to be fully lit by water-spun turbines. Hastily liaisons of gentlemen and escorts creep down the rose garden path every night. Lord Braxton's level of soirees being unending. And also unending is Lord Braxton's desire to flaunt his status, with paper lanterns, bonfires, and even dirigibles gracing the manor's grounds and skies whenever special occasions unfold behind the manor's closed doors. This place is like an ode of wealth, and to detach from the harsh realities of London life. Why? What a cozy little estate. Particularly in this dreary rain, cozy is not how I would describe Braxton Manor. Just up the hill from the ferry dock. Clara Reed? Piss off, you lots. Out of my way. What in the Sam Hill is all that rack? Clara, my dear. Seems there's some poor house chap shouting your name. Clara Reed. And who might you be? This is Atticus Daly, a customer of mine. Customer, apologies, Clara Reed. I didn't know your normal fee was everything a man has, plus the bags is in. Just my luck to run into him here. I heard of your run-in with Jimmy last night. Had one of my own, in fact. I know the winnings were part of Molly's ploy. All the same, perhaps an apology is in order. Yes, well, I suppose that might go some way towards settling things between us, though I can't say I enjoy being rooked while on the nod. That's quite fair. Now, sweet pea, if I follow this nice and clear, am I to understand that you hornswoggled this cowboy in the most literal sense, mind you, as he slept? That's about the gist of it. Ain't that a proper outlaw move? That's my Spitfire adventuress at work. Mr. Daly is practically fuming. Turner's laughter face, perhaps noticing he crossed the line. What's that? A glint upon Atticus' belt, tucked sloppily into the side. My derringer, left behind last evening at the Rose. So that's where it's gotten to. Perhaps I could cook up a way to see it safely back to my arms. Just apologize, my girl. You owe him that. Apologies, Atticus. Really. Sure, if we're going to be friends again, you might as well have this. Let's go, Atticus. The hulking Minotaur proffers at the lady's fan, painted with the scene out of... Oh, he did! Oh, we picked it up. Out of Smith. That was not what I expected at all. Thank you, Atticus. It's very thoughtful. Of course I have no use for it, but it suits you, I think. Well, I'm glad that's settled, but Clara, we should get a move on. Miss Reed, before I forget, one last thing? Though perhaps it doesn't matter much in the end. Yes? Well, I was the one who stumbled upon the body of your coworker this morning, and I thought I should tell you something. I should tell someone who might care. As it happens, I've been looking into the murders myself. And the information he has could be pertinent. Let's hear him out. What would you like to share? The body was a wreck, and the furniture was topsy-turvy, as if it's been thrown about. I saw much the same in my own investigation. What struck me as odd, though, was the smell in the room, and I bet it had blown off by the time the copper showed up. A particular smell? It smelled like perfume or incense, strong notes of bergamot and rose, familiar enough in a bordello, but I thought I might mention it anyway. bergamot and rose, most likely froze the froggery. It's a quite popular scent, so I'm not sure it's much of a lead. I know. Yep. The scent is favored by Queen Victoria herself, and it's something that we did not pick up in the woman's house. I'm afraid there's no more to glean there. Thank you, Atticus. This information might prove useful. Good luck to you then. I hope you catch the wretch and put a stop to these killings. Shall we take the coach? The rain is really coming down. Daily boy, you'll be catching the next one, Next one, eh? Not enough room for all of us. Sure, I'll wait for the next one and see if I can scare up a bottle of gin in the meantime. Safe travels, Atticus. Atticus is a doll. The fresh air makes a nice change from London. No offense, Miss Reed. None taken, Tenor. London is not my city, born nor raised. It is merely where I've spent these last few years. I am glad to hear that, Sweet Pea. Quite glad. If you'll be so inclined, I'd love to treat you to the big blue skies on Texas someday. Not exactly subtle about it. If I found myself in the area, I suppose I might allow myself a tour. You love it, Spitfire. I'll take you on a proper riverboat. None of these meandering steam mechanics will take a gas-powered boat on the Mississippi. Now that's the power for you. And I'm quite sure the freshness of the river does not suffer for it. Not that I've a leg to stand on after living with the miasma of the Thames. I've been making a killing sudden to the occasions. We're working up a seaworthy version, you know. See if we can't get the Seminole Peninsula hooked. Perhaps the Zulu in time. I have an uncle who sailed on the Mississippi. Do you? Apologies, Miss Reed, but I thought you hailed from Philadelphia. I've called many places home throughout the years. Boston, New York, Philadelphia, and many places on this side of the pond as well. But I was born in Acadia. Yep. The French colony. Then your uncle was one of the many to move south? Just so, he's still down in Louisiana, as far as I'm aware. Those cages are some of my very best customers, next to the Comanche, of course. Of course. Well then, my friends, shall we make our grand entrance? Let's head inside. Rest assured, this is not the last you've heard of the miracle of gasoline combustion. I'll have these highfalutin London types hooked soon enough. The manor is full of richly carpeted hallways and Egyptian statues on display for tonight's party. The windows are as high as single-story buildings, bathing every room in pale cobalt moonlight. Portraits of the Bragg family lines the walls, painting every member in a positive and irreproachable strokes. The house itself seems like a monument to opulence, reminding guests of the wealth and power of their host. Lord Silas Bragg was gifted the property when he earned his lordship, but due to tension between the original owner and a string of uncooperative architects, the manor came together piecemeal over more than a decade of building. Lacking a unified structure, some staircases lead to dead ends. There are many empty door frames in the underground chambers, rumored to connect with a tunnel system leading back to London. What such a system could be used for is almost anyone's guess. Oh, he looks cool. Introducing Mr. Tenor Cunningham, visiting from the Republic of Texas, Mr. Cunningham's companion, Mr. Ironbearer of the Comanche, and Miss Clara Reed of London. Is that Leda Braxton? I wonder if she's half as eccentric as her dear husband. Ooh, does she know who we are? Oh, Miss Reed, Mr. Tenor, Ironbeard. Oh, I like that. Welcome, friends. Welcome to Braxton Manor. Lady Braxton has been sampling the punch already, or else another strong drink. She's properly oiled up. Allow me to point out some of the esteemed company you'll be keeping this evening. There's Sir Willard Rathbone, an animal lover. He loves the furry deers a little too much, if you take my meaning. I dearly hope I don't. And Dr. Clancy Wainwright, a talented surgeon and pharmacologist. Though one wonders how much of the drugs in his lab end up in the hands of his patients. A baseless accusation as far as I'm aware, though the good doctor has been known to play lab rat for himself time to time. Over there we have Sir Alfred Carmen Boyle, author of the escapist literature for the masses. I suppose we should be thankful they can read at all. Who is this? Why is he? Well, he's obviously not that good either, but come on. I suppose we should be thankful they can all read. And Lady Annabella Bryant, the one with the famous father. Pity she never minded so much herself. Is that all? Is the bloodbath over? She has quite the sharp tongue. Well, those are some of our most notable attendees. Oh, I'm getting dizzy. Is there anything I can get for you? Self-service for the drinks? Just over there. Did I hear that this party is to feature an unwrapping? Oh yes, we've had certain ancient artifacts from the time of the pharaohs, including wall of stone, a few other things. Just look around and you'll see. But as you say, that's not even the best part. She sways in place a little, eyebrows raised, and waits for me to look appropriately anticipatory. We have a mummy, a real, genuine, dead Egyptian mummy, and the climax of the evening will be the unwrapping of our desiccated guest. As she conveys this information, Lady Braxton's demeanor can only be described as gleeful. How intensely ghoulish. Yet I must let it lie. Thank you for your gracious... We're not asking about her husband. Thank you for your gracious welcome, your ladyship. Not at all. If you need anything, my servants would be glad to assist. And let me know if... when they get surly. Enjoy the party. Do let me know if you need anything. Well, glad those formalities are done with. Oh my. Wait, I want to look at this really quick. Zora. That's the name. That's the killer. We got a fan. He really shouldn't have. The Comanche. Oh, we basically did everything for her. Oh my, I do believe I spied the eccentric Mr. Rathbone over yonder. That's certainly a choice for the guest list. He is hardly one to talk. And by my lucky stars, is that bag bitch himself? No, my mistake. Quite the shrewd countenance on that old chap, though. You can't blame a man for seeing the resemblance. Miss Reed, I've not known you to be a wallflower. Shall I assume you're off to socialize? Indeed. Have you any time to mingle on your own, or will you be keeping an eye on Tenor all evening? Why, Miss Barney, of course. I've always been such a fan of her work. Miss Barney. There goes Tenor, off to make his mark on the London elite. Austin simply. It is my job to keep an eye on Cunningham, but clearly he finds himself occupied. I can find some time to myself while he's otherwise engaged. All right, Iron Bear, try to enjoy yourself. Same to you, Clara. Right, time to get the lay of the land in here. What is updated? I should use the opportunity to learn what I can from those attending the party. I need to speak with Madame Zora, who was meant to be in attendance, to ask about what I discovered in her flat. Man, I wish I would have took that perfume now. Ugh. Alright. Let's There's really a sarcophagus in the freaking. Who unravels a mummy? Okay. Let's see. So much happening. Title of the book. Somebody left out a book here. I found there's at least something worthwhile in just about anything published. If only I had had the spare time for reading that I had in my college days. The title reads, The Tale of the Stable Boy and the Lusty Milkmaid. Oh. I'm certain it has value in its own way. Let's just glance at a passage. See, here the heroine is admiring the strength and posture of a horse and imagining how it must look to see it gallop. The next passage seems to be a treatise on animal husbandry, I hope. True. Perhaps not every book has value. Look on the bright side. Though I may not agree with the author's goals, the book readers now doubtless have a better understanding of equine anatomy. It's important to remember that there are chances to learn anywhere you look. Wait, let's do this. Consort with those in attendance. That's the killer and fan. The Comanche. And we got the fan back. Can't talk to you. Tessica Lincoln. Tessica's here. Lovely to see you, Ginger Cake. Punctual as ever. You beat me to the party. In this case, seeing as Lord Braxton is a high-paying patron, it pays to be on time. But did you know there will be a mummy on display? I can't say I read the invitation closely. To be clear, I don't condone this sort of thing at all. But here we are, and there's not another ferry back to London until much later. Besides, if Lord Braxton is buying her work, then it pays Miss Lincoln to stay a while. And of course you're here with Tenor. He must be loving the chance to rub shoulders with the London elite. How do you like the party? It's all better for seeing you. The feeling is quite mutual. This lot of blue bloods don't know how to throw a proper bash, now laid back at home. Indeed. Not with the 400 carrying on like it's their God-given mission. New York's high society. Ironic, isn't it, that America should fight for independence only to establish their own nobility? I never thought of it that way, but you're correct, of course. Very astute, Clara. Do you think of your husband often? Not as much as I used to, though of course I will always miss him. Moving to London was indeed the distraction I'd hoped. It was for me, at least for a time. It was nice to share a few words with Tessica, but I'd rather be going now. Well, Tessica, I must be getting on, but it was good to speak to you. Always a pleasure. You maybe should have talked about the bounty, but that just seems weird. By the saints, it's Dr. Wainwright, the one Nirvana interviewed by way of my assistance. He looks upset, glancing around as if to find someone to unload his worries on. Hello, I'm Dr. Clancy Wainwright. It's a pleasure to meet you. Clara Reed, a pleasure, sir. Miss Clara Reed, well, I'm grateful for the company. He seems particularly perturbed. Perhaps he needs another drink? Ask him what he's looking for. Excuse my presumptions, Doctor, but are you perhaps looking for something? Well, you see, I have been considering I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I have been contemplating looking for something in one of the upstairs rooms. Scandalous. As I was deliberating, I saw none other than that scallywag Greenstreet emerging from a room. He was carrying a portfolio of sorts, which he hid beneath his coat. I'm concerned that he may have gotten away with, well, I suppose I don't know what it was. Ooh. Scallywag, that's putting it mildly. Yet clearly he is a man of ill repute, and he has ascended with something of value. As you had attended to? His face just lost some color that cut too quick. That cut to the quick. Well, not in so many words, but yes, any road. I considered alerting someone to what I had seen, but I was concerned to raise alarms about guests venturing into the back rooms. Ask him about the party's theme. What of the Comanche? What do you think of the theme Egypt and mummies and whatnot? You know, I haven't given it a lot of thought, Miss Reed. I've too much on my mind, and as far as the mummy goes, I suppose something that old isn't likely to carry anything catching, or I hope not. I hope not too. Not even an ancient flesh-writhing curse? Withering curse? Thank you for that. I need a good laugh tonight. Not of the many maladies I've come across in my profession. No, of the many maladies I've come across in my profession, a pharaoh's curse isn't among them. Why are you troubled? Pardon me, doctor, but is there something else troubling you? Why, yes. In fact, the scallywag Greenstreet isn't the only thing on my mind. Go ahead, I'm listening. You see, I'm the chief physician of the Bethnal House Sanitarium, and the most unfortunate event has occurred, or rather, a series of events. He takes a heavy breath, as if it hurts him physically to think of the subject. Well, to put it simply, a number of my wards have been transferred. Isn't that common for patients to go to other institutions for a specialty treatment? Yes, it does happen, but none of those transferred occurred under my approval. In fact, I was not consulted at all, and I'm the general director. That's terrible. Where did they go? Forgive my bluntness, but I suspect my own associate board member at Bethnal House and our host here tonight may have had a hand in the transfers. Do you mean Lord Braxton? The doctor nods patiently, clearly feeling better having shared his concerns. Naturally, when Lord Braxton extended an invitation to his soiree, I decided to attend so that I might speak to him directly. What was his explanation? He has thus far evaded me. He will answer my questions before the night is done, however. Be sure of that. Well, best of luck with that, doctor. It seems silence is quite popular tonight. Tell me, doctor, have you spoken to a woman called Ivana Orsini of late? Ivana said the meeting went well. I wonder if the good doctor feels the same. What? How do you know about that? Oh, I have my ways. Well, that's not at all alarming. One might start to suspect a conspiracy. One might. However, since there's no sense in hiding it, yes, I've spoken with the woman in question, climbed right through the window, in fact, of the establishment I was patronizing. Hard to admit to being ambushed in a brothel. Showcasing a level of dexterity usually only seen in lichens, it must be said, which makes a fellow wonder. Those possessed by the involuntary first stage of lichenism is which, near the full moon, one has the capability to transform into a werewolf if provoked. Lichens, you say? Any road, the interview did go as well as could be expected in the end. I don't mind a bit of good journalism, and I do like to share what I'm working on, when not confidential, of course. Of course, I shall refrain from pressing further. Much obliged, Miss Reed. It's been nice speaking with you, Dr. Wainwright, but I must be going now. Of course, Miss Reed. Best of luck in your endeavors. Oh, let's just get this over with. I didn't realize there were people this way. I wonder which is more valuable, the Braxton estate or this priceless relic. Seated statues. A pair of ancient Egyptians. Perhaps they were royalty, though royalty usually have fancier hats. The globe. Look at the work of an ancient map maker, seeing as the empire's many colonies are prominently marked. Let's take a... What? Willard Rathbone. It's no surprise to see Sir Willard Rathbone here. Sighted penance for audacious guests seems never to wane. Curtsy and address him as Sir Rathbone. Sir Rathbone, it's a pleasure to see you again. Surely there is no harm in humoring his delusional knighthood. Everyone should indulge in a little nonsense now and again. Fancy seeing you here, Miss Reed. Go on, Wally, say hello. Not a particularly friendly bird, is he? He has a brain that's larger than a walnut, but smarter than my own eyeball. Could you really fault him? Absolutely. Wallace has roughly the same intellectual capacity to qualify for the local magistrate. What are your thoughts on the theme of the ball and the main event? Ah, Egypt. I really must go back there sometime. You've been? Oh yes, it's one of my favorite exotic bird. Of course it is. I said my favorite bird, Wally. You're my favorite exotic animal, bar none. Seriously? Yes, home to the African gray parrot. They're so smart that they need only listen to a sentence once before they can repeat it perfectly. Fascinating. As for the unwrapped event, I don't expect much other than bones and dust. That's what I found when I unwrapped a mummified cat during the expedition. Mummified pets? I remember reading that somewhere, though it sounded so far-fetched. Did they mummify their pets so they might have their company in the afterlife? Fascinating. Not only company, but protection too. Wally, will you protect me when we cross over to the choir invisible? Poem by George Eliot, describing the hope for an afterlife and the memories of those still living. Oh, he's still sorry about the favorite bird slip. May I ask how you know Lord Braxton? Well, the upkeep and health of exotic animals vastly outweighs any profit they make in public venues. Lord Braxton is one of my more charitable patrons, you see. His financial aid keeps my humble zoo afloat and available to all, which exactly make you beholden to him. It seems death is not merely a recurring theme in the party, but in the news as well. What are your thoughts on the Curtis killer? Oh, nasty business indeed. I trust you're referring to the killer's handiwork, not the unfortunate victims. Oh, yes, oh dear. I didn't mean for my comment to come across as cruel. Well said, my boy. I may not agree with you and your fellow harlot's choice of work, but no person deserves to be slaughtered in so heinous a manner. How gracious of him. My Wally will be quite the attack dog. If you ever feel your safety is compromised, perhaps you might borrow him and he'll trail behind you like a trained horse. Oh, that's quite... for a small fee, of course. But of course. Ta-ta for now. Enjoy the rest of the party, Sir Rathbone. You as well, my dear. What was that? Grocery store diagrams. Okay. Oh, that's what... Okay, got it. If Silas wanted to go the extra mile, he could have had these riddles plated. Let's take a beverage. A collection of relatively cheap libations. Perhaps Silas reserved his more expensive bottles for himself. I don't like her. We'll come back if need be. Stone carving. A great big block of stone carved with ancient Egyptian figures. The range and quality of Egyptian artifacts in Silas's possession is truly staggering. This one is quite worn, however. That might be the guide horizontal on the left, but it's hard to be sure. The ladder. If I had a book I treasure so much, I'd climb a ladder for it. I keep it on the lower shelf. Wait, what? Oh, I think I read that wrong. Let's go to Iron Bear, actually. I hope you're having a pleasant party. Now that you've had a while to take it all in, what do you think? It's a very different from any celebration I've seen at home, even unsettling. The guests seem uncomfortable, anxious, except those who have indulged too much to drink. They behave like fools. Very astute. You're a keen eye for people. Have you taken a look at the mummy yet? I have not, nor do I intend to. Only a madman would disturb the dead's rest. I understand that these people worship science above nature or tradition, but my heart tells me there must be consequences. It's gruesome enough, I'll grant you that. I have seen gruesome misread. He waves a hand vaguely, lost for words. It seems he's done talking. I understand it. Death. Art of Mine, Lionine statue? A granite lion in its natural habitat, the states where wonders of the world are flaunted. Stop. Tenor. Don't mind me, Spitfire. It's taken in Lord Braxton's mighty fine estate. Lord Almighty, who wouldn't want to live inside this humble little abode? If this estate is humble, then I'm the Queen's lady in waiting. You seem to be enjoying yourself. Miss Reed, if there's one place Tenor Cunningham will shine, it's at a party. And what a party. We're from all over the world, these strange artifacts from ancient Egypt, and an idea strikes him, and for a brief instant, he looks like an awestruck child. I'd almost forgotten the best part. My stomach's all flutter about the guest of honor. I can't wait for them to unwrap the old-timey library. The talk of Mummy's curse doesn't bother you? No, ma'am. Just some fairy tale English nonsense. Right? Superstitious sort of folk, if you ask me. Now, I've seen saints and magic men do some miraculous things, but dead mummy magic? Hogwash, my dear. Oh? Why, I bet this wrapped up fellow was just a palace scribe, or even some so-and-so off the street. Leastwise, that's what I gather from what I know of the mummy trade. Who's out there turbulating curses for the everyman? That is a surprising, sensible view of at least as far as curses go. Did you drum up any new business? Young lady, if I thought to bring my deeds and papers with me, I'd already be richer by about 1,000 pounds, but the prospects are promising nonetheless. Well, keep at it then. Persistence is the key, and men like you never seem to run out of it. I beg your pardon, that sounds like a barb, and I do believe that's just what you intended. You wound me, Spitfire. To my surprise, Amanda seemed chagrined by my joke, an emotion I had not thought him capable of. Then he grins like a jackass and breathes like one too. Not to worry, Spitfire, just pull your leg. You know I'm like a rock in the red Tessin sun. Couldn't burn me if you tried. Well, I suppose I'll leave you to it. Alright, Spitfire, go and make the rounds. Don't worry about me. I'm just fine right here. Let's go to the mummy. Nobles will do anything to flaunt their wealth. That disturbs me more than this mummy. Go to the statue, the pharaoh statue. Found the wallflower. This one's likely to move from this spot by his own volition. Bookshelf. Books mostly related to science, chemistry, and engineering, but also history, law, and a few of the classics. On the subject of a lichen-run state, full moons draw rowdy crowds in Yugoslavia. Such traditions reach back long before our modern incarnations of moon creams or other medical treatments. Dr. Smith Victoria, English reports a rather festive-like atmosphere as people transmute into wolves, hunt down wildlife, and run freely through the woods. Oh dear, such chaos! The government and infrastructure of Bruslavia evolved with lycanthropes in mind, and so natural infrastructure and precautions reflect this fact. Dr. Smith Victoria, English of course, reports being partly terrified by such barbarity. The Veliki Iteria, the cult of Zeus, and the cause of the War of Independence. And from that great storm that divided the Mediterranean only decades ago, it is known that the Veliki Iteria utilized not only the power of Zeus but that of Poseidon. This doesn't seem right. Weren't Zeus and Poseidon bitter rivals? But they have both helped the same people? The Veliki restored the great temple of Zeus, elevating it to its perch atop Mount Olympus once more, wherein steam airships often dock. And of course, we must decide the matter of the irrepressible Lord Byron. Achilles, Iphis, and modern narrate adverts. The secluded nature of their culture, unlike the stalwart Minotaur, the towering Cyclops, or the clever Satyr, narrates have remained isolationists. As Ovid writes of Iphias, or as Statius writes via the Archiliad. If it becomes Bacchus to trail a gold embroidered robe behind him, a golden robe, how terribly gauche. Aeneas was saved by Thetis, and in some traditions his foster mother was made a goddess of the upper sea upon her death. Indeed, we might also look towards Vulcanian's tradition. We may yet see within our lifetime the utilization of divine providence. It is our duty to harness this elevation to the status of divinity for our own purposes, to control the force of documented miracles and the creation of new gods, that we may have the power for ourselves. I guess the fireplace? For all his technological breakthroughs, Sidus still seems rather fond of using time-tested heat sources.